whenever we met someone that was made good money or someone was successful, and mum would look at me as a kid and go, you can be that one day. I find that people that earn more money usually have less savings, and they're earning 350 grand a year. And I look and I go, how much savings you got? And they're like 10 grand. And then you got someone that's earning 75 grand a year and they've got like 200 grand saved up. Crazy, isn't it? Okay, guys, me and my team are about to go live. So make sure you grab your beverage of choice, sit down, and you're in for an amazing show. Okay, hello and welcome, everyone. Great to see you here. It's exciting. I've got Charmaine Adams with me, and we've got a really good show. We're going to be talking about how to get started as a property investor. And, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to get started for the people that are just starting out, which is going to be great.
So I was just going to say, if you're watching us live tonight, just type in the chat, #live. If you're watching the replay, #replay.
Yes, because the people watching the replay always see that on the feed, which is great, because I know a lot of people can't catch us at this time. We've tried to make it the best time for everyone. Thursday night is my favorite part of the week. This is where I get ready for the weekend. I get to see all our clients and our members, which is great, see all their wins and everything else. If you want to share your screen, that'd be great, and we'll get started.
Yeah, all right, here we go, George.
Yep. Okay. So how to invest for beginners. Look at this. They started with 100 and now they got 1.5 million. That's great. Excellent. Yep. Welcome to our weekly Thursday live. Okay. So let's talk about my success story, I guess. And the thing is, I knew property was going to be good from a very young age, and I guess a lot of people say, George, you're successful in property, you're successful in business, you must have had parents that are really good at investing in that business. Actually, quite the opposite. My parents both grew up in a village in Macedonia. They came to Australia. My father was a miner and my mum worked in a chicken factory. So I didn't get the opportunity to have any guidance from them when it came to business or property investing, but I got guidance from them in regards to my personal character, my work ethic, and being a good person. So I'm very thankful for them for that, which is great. But also, I suppose my mother instilled in me a desire to be successful and kept tapping positive stuff into me, which is great. So I feel I was very fortunate that way. And whenever we met someone that was made good money or someone was successful, and mum would look at me as a kid and go, you can be that one day. And it really embedded it in my head. So from a young age, the first time I played Monopoly, I thought this is so much fun. And my friend said, look, you can actually play Monopoly in real life. And I thought, wow, how cool is that? I can grow up one day and play Monopoly in real life with real houses. So I thought that was such a cool thing to do. Because, in Monopoly, the more properties you buy, the more money you make. And the funny thing is, in real life, it's almost the same, but it's not. In life, you've got to buy the right properties, just like in Monopoly. You get Mayfair in Monopoly, you're going to make good money, but Kent Town is terrible. So same thing. So it's a matter of picking the right properties. And in Monopoly, it's a matter of getting all the three of the same color or two of the same color. In real life, it's getting properties that are going to grow and double every 7 or 10 years. You want to get properties that are put money in your bank account every week. And the third thing is you really want to get security and make sure asset protection and protect the properties that you're growing. And that's the thing. So when I first started investing in property, I struggled. And first thing I did is save up to get a deposit. And I bought a property and I got the wrong loan. Didn't quite get the right property either. And it was hard. And then I got a second property. By my third property, I had 3 properties that were minus like $100, $200 each per week. And back in the 90s, that was a lot of money. So literally, I ended up working 7 days a week just to pay for my properties. And I knew property was the answer, but there I was working 7 days a week. There were older houses, so I'd keep having to go do repairs, and I was doing it myself and helping out and doing things. And I was knackered. I was working hard. My friends were going out having fun, Me, I was too tired. I'd go home and sleep because I was working every day. And I thought to myself, I like the idea of property and I'd love to be successful. But if that means that I can't have a life now at all, and I'm going to be successful one day when I'm old, what's the point? You know what I mean? It wasn't really working for me. Plus, I couldn't get any more properties. If I got another property, I'd go broke and lose everything. So I went on a journey, and I went on the journey because really, I guess I had two choices there. Choice number one was quit property and try something else, or choice number two was really work it out. And you can see which door I picked, and that's the one, really work it out. And I suppose the reason, I chose property and I decided not to quit because I didn't have another option. I knew that I wasn't going to inherit a fortune from my parents, and there was no other way of me creating financial freedom. So I knew that this was it. I didn't trust the stock market or buying gold or anything else like that because 90% of self-made millionaires did it through property. So I was going to do it as well. So I went on a bit of a journey, and I heard about this guy from Melbourne who had met once before, funny enough, in Sydney. And his name was Nick, and he lived in Miami in the same apartment block as David Beckham when he was living in Miami. And what happened was this guy bought these properties and now is living off the properties. He had a property in Miami, he had one in Greece, and one in some other exotic location, one in Melbourne, and he was doing very well. So I went and met up with him. We ended up having drinks, cocktails. Funny enough, this is the classic apple martini story because we went to this bar.
Yeah.
We met up at this bar, and he ordered the apple martini. And I thought that's not very much of a manly drink, but I'm thinking if he's a property millionaire and he drinks apple martinis, I drink apple martinis. So he said, "What do you want?" I said, "I'll have an apple martini," and that's what we drank because the way I see it, if someone's successful, if they're doing something, you should do it as well. Now, I know the apple martini is not going to make you successful, but I thought I'd just copy everything. I don't know what he's doing right. And after I got all the secrets, I came back home, rearranged my loans, changed it, and started getting cash flow and started building my portfolio. And within a few short years, I ended up with 10 properties and I retired. There you go.
I love that, George, because what I'm hearing is that you are really clear on your why. And when you know your why in property, that's like your driving force that helps you to overcome any objection to get to your outcome. And I think the other component is the story where you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you knew the only way you were going to get successful is by hanging around people that were more successful and leverage from that. And look where you are now. Like you said, within a short few years, you were able to, retire on property. So,
Charmaine, exactly. And see, that part about the 5 people around you is so important. And the thing is, part of the way you can get to hang around people that are more successful is by paying money. So I'll tell you, I paid money to join Robert Kiyosaki's mentorship program, got to hang out with him, and now we know each other and we do work together. But I wouldn't have had access to him without paying, right? And that's a shortcut because otherwise, how the hell am I going to meet Robert Kiyosaki if I'm not successful enough?
or even be in proximity of people that have the real life results you're looking to model from.
Exactly. Another way is go on a podcast or go on a live. Like what you could do is on a Thursday night, go to a Facebook Live where someone like George is presenting and you're around him because then I can start program your mind for success because everything I say is there to program you for success. It's different to what you learn at school. Yeah, it's different like I explained before about property. It's 90% of properties, and some people can't handle. Not 90% of millionaires made it through property. Can property is one of the only scarce resources in the world, in a world where everything else is getting less scarce. So that's the best way to do it. Yeah, I mean, there's a season and a reason. You got to look at your journey as you go along. And the beginning of your journey is about saving, right? That's the beginning of your journey. And that's what you need to do. And saving's important. What's important is to be able to, there's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, right? And what he talks about, he says that 10% of what you earned is yours to keep, which means that first you save that and then you spend everything else. Pay yourself first. I say 20% of what you earn is yours to keep. You know, whatever you earn, 20%, take it away, put it in savings, pay yourself first, and then pay everything else. Because if you pay everyone else first, you pay your rent, you pay your mortgage, you pay for your fuel, your electricity, and then your entertainment, well, then you'll have nothing left for yourself. That's why you're going to pay yourself first. So, you know, they say you can't save your wealth, save yourself to wealth, which is true. But you need to save yourself to investing, because the real way of the real way of creating financial freedom is through investing. But without saving, you can't do that. And the power of compounding wealth, saving. The important thing is having the discipline to save. And what I did when I started, I saved as much as I could. I really did. And a good way to save more money is make more money, because you make more money, you got more money to save. You know what I mean? Because some people don't make enough. This is the funny thing, and this is what I find. I find that people that earn more money usually have less savings. I'm amazed at the amount of people, I'm not going to mention any names, but the amount of people that join our program and they're earning 350 grand a year. And I look at 50, 30, 20 how much savings you got, and they're like, we're 10 grand. Basically, and then you got someone that's earning 75 grand a year, and they've got like 200 grand saved up. Crazy. 20 you save for yourself. But I'd put that first. Automate your savings, pay yourself first, exactly. The unnecessary expenses. Is that coffee really worth $1,500 a year? In my case, it's an astounding yes, because, right? But
ways, right? Because Federico and I realized that we had a $145 a week coffee habit, and we were looking to have a consciously defined budget because we wanted to invest in our next property. So what we did was we actually invested in a coffee machine. So we actually cut our expenses down by investing in a coffee machine. We would then still treat ourselves to have a coffee, you know, at a cafe on a Sunday with the family. But we got to have the best of both worlds, right? So we got really creative because we both are big coffee drinkers. We didn't want to give it up, but we also knew that we were really clear that we wanted the next property, and we needed to make sure that we had a consciously defined budget to get us there. So there are tricky ways that you can get around things so that you get your cake and get to eat it too.
Charmaine, I love that. And funny enough, I was about to say that because I actually bought a coffee machine, and it's good because sometimes, especially if the coffee shops aren't open, it's good to have a coffee machine as well. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, you know, coffee is important, but you can do it yourself. Also, like avocado on toast, the classic avocado on toast. I'm in Bali, and when they talk about avocado on toast, they call it Australian style breakfast because it comes from Australia. Isn't that funny?
It is. It is.
Yes.
And it's funny because in Bali, I think you pay something like $6 or $7 for an avocado on toast for breakfast. But in Australia, you pay anywhere between $18 to $22 for the same.
Really? Really? Wow. So I'm not used to that because I actually, funny enough, I did something very Canggu-like because I live in Canggu in Bali at the moment. And there's a lot of Canggu bros, they get their laptop and they go to a cafe and work out of a cafe. And I've been working from here. As you can see behind me, I'm in the house. And what I love about the houses here is a lot of them got glass and plants outside, which I love. So but I actually, the other thing is saying cafe today. And the thing is, even after you actually go from a cafe, it was a lot of fun. Start really investing. Saving's important because then you can save quicker for your next investment and keep going. Because there's a phase where you're saving and accumulating all your investments. And that's where you want to cut expenses. You want to save as much as you can so you can get there quicker. Once you've got enough investments, the whole game changes. And it's completely different because then you don't need to save anymore at all. Right? And then you actually get into spending mode, which is a lot more fun if you ask me. But what you need is you need a method. You need a method of financial freedom. And that's why I invented the Markoski method. And the 3 pillars are like you need access, strategy, and strength. So you need You go from hard slog to leverage when you've got strategy. The thing is, having a strategy that's repeatable that you can do without having to think, and you know it's tried and tested, is so important. And I'll explain why you need a path to freedom, to financial freedom. Because let's say, for example, if you were lost out in a jungle and you needed to get to the beach, and if there's no paths, you'd have to get a machete and cut your way through. You might fall off a ravine and kill yourself, attacked by a panther, all sorts of stuff. But if there was a well-trodden path that lots of other people have used, and you go along that, one, you're not going to fall off the path. You're going to get to your destination, and you're not going to die on the way. So it makes a lot more sense. You never want to be a pioneer. You don't want to be the first person to run that path. You want to be someone following everyone else. That's right. You got to get educated. Very important. The right mentor, the right system. So why do investors fail? One, lack of education. Following bad advice from family and friends. Trying to do it alone. Okay, how to fast track. Learn from someone who's already done it. Avoid costly beginner mistakes and have a proven system to follow. Yeah, so what I was going to say is an interesting story. We had my friend Rob, who he joined our program and he bought a property in Capalaba. And that property went up like 140,000 when he bought the property. He had it for a month and he was like, this is great. I'm going to sell it. He's a lovely guy, a really smart guy too. Anyway, he sold it and made 140, which is great. But I said, look, don't sell because you're going to make more. But he was happy with that investment because he put in, I think it was like 80,000 deposit. So he made 150% on his money when he got that property, and he made it all within a couple of months. So he was wrapped. But now, how much is it worth now, Charmaine?
About 750,000, and that was, I'd say, about September of last year. So I would dare say it's gone up even more.
Yeah. And so with property pays you more the longer you hold it. It's compounding effects, and that's why it's important. But the reason I guess I spoke about Robert, because one of his friends actually, he told him he should join our program as well, which is a good thing. So I really appreciate the referral. It's a great guy. And you want to have a proven system to follow.
Yeah. And it's really important because what I find when it comes to property investing, it's really like 10% strategy. If you've got a strategy that's proven and tested, the gap is that 90%, and that's your mindset. And that's why it's so important to work with people like George or other leaders or other individuals that have the results that you're looking to have, because that's what's going to assist you to bridge the gap and gain that success.
I totally agree. I think mindset is very important because you hang around successful people, your goals get bigger, you have less stress because you know everyone else is doing it. And that's why we do this Thursday night for our group, because it's much better that way. I totally agree. Absolutely. The power of a winning system, a lot of power. The positive property blueprint, proven formula, growth, cash flow, security. The importance of due diligence, cash flow calculators, very important. And Charmaine, you do that for our clients.
Absolutely. It's all about the numbers, George.
Yeah, well, how to get a deposit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big one.
Yes, this is the big one. Number one, you can save. Have we got this little things here, or do I have to just say it?
Coming through,
Oh,
it's coming
cash
through.
savings, the old-fashioned way. Cash savings. Excellent. There you go. Superannuation, self-managed super fund. Equity in your home, tapping in existing assets. Equity in the home is the best way to do it. Selling assets. I wouldn't call them assets, but yeah, cars, gold, Bitcoin, stocks, toys, jet skis. We got one client. I think she's selling a ring that's worth about 130,000.
Yeah. I know another client that sold a car. I think, George, you had a client that sold, what was it, jet skis and
I had a client that sold a jet ski, a car, and a motorbike, and he converted these three things into $1 million property portfolio.
yeah,
Like, wow, pretty cool. Also, side hustles, extra income. What are some
yeah,
side hustles? How can people make more money? What have people done? I know one lady, she put signage on a car
Yeah, she wrapped her car. She also converted her garage into like an Airbnb.
Yep.
I know a few members that have done that, that have converted garages into like a self-contained kind of a room and just Airbnb from time to time.
I mean, think about this. You sell your car, then you've got a garage, and then you can Airbnb your garage, and you got double. There was also, we had one family, they actually got Chinese students living with them,
Oh, wow, there you go.
right? So you can get Chinese students or different nationality. You can do joint ventures with your friends or family. You've got to be creative. You've got to think of ideas because at the end of the day, you live one life, and life with financial freedom is just amazing. It's great. And
Yeah,
that's what we're here to do.
I remember I had a client that makes those little terrariums. Have you seen those little beautiful little plant terrariums? They started off as a hobby and now they're actually making some pretty good income from it. So
Oh,
that little side, that
we've
was a
got we got one client in Melbourne, and she actually breeds dogs,
yes, there you go. Yeah.
and she has done very well during COVID. She did very well, and she's actually converted puppies into property. How good's that, right?
Love the conversion.
Puppies into property. I mean, how awesome is that? That's amazing.
Power of leverage. Using other
Other
people's
people's money.
OPM. I love it.
Yes, you don't need to be rich to invest. You need the right strategy. Good debt versus bad debt. So people sometimes are scared of debt, but really at the end of the day, there's two types of debt. There's bad debt. Bad debt is going on a holiday, you know, getting a getting a credit card to pay for your flights to go on a holiday is bad debt because you're not going to get an ROI on that. You might have a lot of fun, sure, but getting buying a jet ski on credit, getting any toys on credit, that sort of stuff. Good debt is getting debt to buy property is good debt. Getting in debt to get educated to get a higher income is good debt.
Getting debt where you can get a tax deduction from is great debt. That's a good.
Absolutely. That's right. There you go. Okay.
So, how to secure a loan even if you think you can't.
Okay. We're getting into some interesting territory. Big
Uh,
four banks, what lenders are looking for, credit score, strategies to improve the loan proof. So the way to get a loan is if the big four banks won't give you a loan, then you've got to look at second tier, third tier lenders. Because what happens is you've got different types of lenders that are open-minded to different things. But really, at the end of the day, it's a matter of getting the right broker or mortgage manager that can actually already knows where you're going to fit because you need to be a round hole in a round peg in a round hole, not a round peg in a square hole, not pole.
Freudian slip there, but that's why we're here to have fun, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Taking action.
Take action. That's right. Take action. Why waiting will cost you more? Property prices rising. The best time to invest is yesterday. Fear of the unknown keeps people broke. Action leads to wealth. Someone who took action has succeeded. Charmaine, this was supposed to be you. You're supposed to give us a case study.
I know I do apologize. I had meetings
That's
this
okay. You know lots of people anyway that you've
I
coached that have
do,
taken action.
I do. So, someone that took action and succeeded.
Well,
Look,
look, we already spoke about Robert, my friend. So what happened was he wasn't sure what to do with his money and he put it in the bank. Luckily, we're good friends. I said, look, the bank, your money's going to shrink. You know, the 80 grand in the bank that he had, if he left it in the bank for a year, it would have gone down in value. So instead, he took action. He joined our program. He got a property in Capalaba and turned that 80 into a 140 plus 80. What's that? 220. Imagine that. So turning 80,000 to 220 instead of 80,000 into 80,000 because it was like less than 1%. So there you go. Okay. Your next steps. Book a free wealth call. So this is what we're going to do. People on the live in the group or on the podcast, type in the chat, type in hashtag free call, and our team will reach out to you. And then we're going to end this. I want to say thank you for joining us. Now we're going to our private group and we're going to go through some advanced strategies to do that. Okay, excellent. Thank you.
thank you, everyone. Bye.